Hey everyone, welcome to Vegas Showbiz. My name is Michael Pellegrini and it is my pleasure to be joined today by Eric and Jayne Post, creators of the murder mystery dinner show, Marriage Can Be Murder. Now, I had a chance to see this with my wife a couple nights ago. Honestly, we loved the show. Didn't really know what to expect. It was kind of a new thing for us, but just so funny. I was laughing the entire time. You're solving a mystery, there's crowd interaction, there's a social media component, there's even a 3-course dinner, so there's a lot going on. I'm very curious to hear about it, but before we go further, thank you both so much for doing this. Welcome to the channel.
Oh, well, thank you. We're glad to be here.
It's my pleasure. Okay, well, let's kick it off. Let's assume that some of our audience has not heard of the show or seen the show. Can either of you give us a description of the plot of Marriage Can Be Murder?
Okay, here's what I tell people. I say it's an audience participation comedy interactive murder mystery.
Okay.
So, and that still people go, huh? Because
It's
a lot, and what we do is different than a lot of other murder mysteries where it's a very serious murder mystery or it's a theme, a time frame, it's a period piece. Ours is really the focus of our crowd, the star of our show is the audience.
Right.
So that's what we want. So, and that's tough sometimes with actors because they want to be the star.
Sure.
But we constantly working on that because you're going to come in and it's immersive, and you're going to sit down and the person next to you could be the killer. The person next to you are sure is the killer and is just a person here like you. So my actors sit inside the audience, and that's really what kind of makes it just one step more interactive. And I have people say, "Hey, do I die now?" And I'm like, no, not yet. Because they're just a person coming to the show. Even after the show's over, how'd they when the girl said, no, I just came with my friend, and they go, how did they let you know you were going to be the killer?
That was my question, yes.
Yes, so it's my actors, I audition and we change out the cast that sits in the room about every 3 to 3.5 months. Because we have different episodes. It's like everybody loves Raymond, and then there's different episodes.
Sure.
Our episodes last about 3.5 months. Jayne, if you want to talk, you can just grab this. This is the longest she's been silent in my life. I'm getting scared.
I think what we've done is we've hit on a nerve of just people. They love to hear stuff. They love to ask good questions. Right. They love to play games. So what we've done is when people were doing, those rooms that you go in and you try and unlock escape rooms.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a fad. So these fads come up that are a piece of our show, but we have all those pieces in our show. So like I was at the Sphere on Saturday, and they're talking about how they broke the fourth wall. And I'm like, we've been breaking the fourth wall for 24 years. Yes, the imagery was beautiful, but to really dive into people's lives. And just like last week, we had what was it called? Throuple, 3 people in a relationship.
Okay.
So we have people that come with these kind of things in their life, and people are like, oh, they're in the show.
Right.
But so we highlight the people. We have interaction, we have music, we have video, as you can see, playing behind us.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
we've taken all the stimulus that you can have in a person's life, and we kind of use it to the advantage of the people. As Eric said, the guests are the primary star. And then with our sound engineer, our hostess, and our cop, and the other people, we kind of look at people, we ask them good questions. If they look like someone, we'll find a look-alike for them. So we were AI before AI.
Yes.
All our brains collectively working together. How can we highlight someone in a good way? So it's a murder mystery, so it's macabre. We are killing people, but we're killing it in a humorous way. So we understand the subject matter is not for everyone, but I think dad jokes, good humor, good-natured. It's not a Don Rickles kind of comic kind of thing. It's not insult humor. It's more engaging. And if the people in the audience have a funnier line than us, we're happy.
Go with it.
We had a couple, what did he say? They went on a trip.
He goes, how'd you marry? It's been married 50 years. He goes, well, on our 25th anniversary, I took my wife to Italy.
Okay.
He goes, and on my 50th year anniversary, I went and picked her up. It's like, how can you beat that?
That's classic.
And we're like, that's fantastic. And also dealing with marriage, right?
Sure.
So we know newlyweds are fantastic, but people who've been married a long time are seasoned and have wit. And so it's like a family when we all get together, and people know each other, and then they'll hang out at the bar and have a drink together.
Right.
They're Facebook friends because they've been interacting on social media. Hey, I'd really like to to know more about you. So that's kind of a cool thing that we do. So when people leave, they're not just, I just attended and watched something.
Yeah, exactly. You're part of the show.
You're part of it.
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite thing, not favorite, but one of my favorite things is to watch people leave a show, any show. I just stand there and watch people exit and see, are they smiling? Are they laughing? Are they crying? Is there any kind of, does it look like they've been moved? And I'm proud when I watch people leave my show.
Yeah.
They've had fun. You said the perfect thing. You had so much fun. And that's if you don't get the mystery, but you've had a fun night, we've done our job.
Exactly, yeah.
We've spread it wide, so mystery buffs, if they're really into it, they have clues, they have things that they can figure out, and they can spend all that time really in the mystery. And then you have other people who are dragged here. I'm hungry, I'll have a meal.
Right.
You know, I wasn't expecting much, you know, like you said, you were like, whoa, this was really good.
Yeah.
You didn't know, because it's hard to explain.
Exactly.
How do we explain it? And
Right.
we have an amazing cast and crew.
You do.
The longest member, of course, of our cast, almost 20 years, and then the rest, 15 years, 10, you know.
That's crazy.
I know, so we work well together, our timing is good.
Right.
You know, in a first season of a show, you can tell it's a first season, and then you go to like third or fourth season, and the cast is really melded and merged, and so, you know, our sound engineers are fantastic, our understudies, or overstudies, because they're overqualified to do this, but they all have a unique sense of timing, talent, and engagement with people. You can't be afraid of people.
Right.
You have to really.
You're
really
leaning in.
Yeah, you're leaning in. You're finding the best about them, or the funniest thing.
Sure.
So we're eavesdropping a lot.
Hey everyone, pardon the interruption, but I have one small favor to ask. If you're enjoying my content, please show your support by subscribing to the Vegas Showbiz YouTube channel. I'm doing my best to grow the channel, and your support via subscription truly does go a long way. So with that said, I hope you enjoy the rest of the interview. I love, you've already touched on so many things that I was curious in asking you about, but I want to dig into this notion of family that you just mentioned. I spent my whole 20s working in fancy restaurants, then switched to the tech industry, and I found that, you know, when you're in that you're in the trenches together in the restaurant every night, you're serving the guests, there's this sense of family. You go grab a beer together afterwards, and I got that feeling when I was watching your show. At the end, when they were talking about, you know, Mimi, the character, had been here for 20 years, and Paul, the officer, had been here for 15 years. I could just sense it when they were introducing everybody, and even the newer comers. So it sounds like you really do have a family here, and then the guests kind of get roped into that every night, and they're a part of it. You were giving out invitations to come and have a drink afterwards. Do you get a lot of people that really kind of latch onto that and want to hang out and enjoy the show afterwards?
We have a few that do. Some are ready to go, but we have other shows that are here as well. We have, you know, the magic show that's after, and we have Leo's. We have this like magic corner over there where you can go see it. You can see a late show after. So some people choose to go to the next show. Others are on their way, but the ones that stay at the bar, you know, the cast comes out, they get to talk to them. So it's like a VIP experience. We're not like asking you to pay extra money to come back and meet the cast. The cast is out there. They'll sit with you and have a drink.
And that's really fun for the cast, because they've been sitting at a table talking to somebody.
Sure.
One of them, just last week, the lady came in, was almost crying, like, so all that you were saying about animal rescue and this and that is not true? And she goes, no, all that's true.
Okay.
The only part that's not true is that I didn't kill anybody, or you know what I mean? It's like, so, because they become friends at the table.
Yeah.
And we've had people that now go on vacations.
No way.
Oh, together they met at the table. I just met a guy that was in the show probably a couple weeks ago, and I was at a doctor's, you know, in the waiting room, and he's looking at me, and we start talking Navy stuff. Yeah. And I get up, when he comes back, he goes, what do you do now? And I go, I do a show. He goes, I knew it.
Yeah.
And he goes, my name's George Washington. When, boom, because he looked familiar, but I see so many people, that a lot of people, you know, so, oh, did you come see my show? And they go, no. I'm all, wow, that sounded arrogant, didn't it? But it was him, and oh, he had such a good time. And that, because that family shared experience is more than just seeing a show.
Yes, I love it. Now, you've already alluded to the history of the show, but I want to get this correct. Was it 24 years you said that it's been
we're
performing?
experiencing 24 years right now.
Wow.
And it'll be our 25th anniversary. next year. We started at the Showboat, the now imploded
I was going to say, I
Showboat.
don't know that one.
We were brought to by Harris.
It was the first of the local casinos. It was on the corner of Boulder and Fremont Street.
Okay.
Way
Gotcha.
out there.
The Rolling Stones performed there in the
Claim to
60s.
fame,
So
yeah.
I guess, and they had a great bowling alley and a great buffet. They were the first to
Old
do
school
many
Vegas.
things. Old school Vegas.
Yeah.
That imploded. We went to the Egg and I off Sahara.
I know,
So
I've
we were
eaten there.
off the strip, a couple of miles. We had a cab company that we worked with that they would bring people.
Oh, wow.
Then we moved to downtown Las Vegas. We were at the
Four Queens.
and
Okay.
then moved over to Fitzgerald's, that is now the D.
Okay, yeah,
And
sure.
we were at the D 14 years, Fitzgerald's D, 14 years, 7 nights a week.
Wow.
Then COVID, right?
Yes,
So
the dreaded.
we had been planning to head to the Strip. There was talks of New York, or other kind of casinos like that, but you saw what happened.
Sure.
And we were missing interacting with people, so we did a Zoom show.
Oh, wow.
And we had
Creative.
people come on. We had a 5-camera shoot Zoom show. We had a police station. We had a bar. Like, it was all on Zoom.
Yeah.
And we killed somebody with a Roomba that had a murder hornet in it that somebody ordered and sent to somebody. So we were trying to use this whole space, and it was hilarious.
a wonderful product. Stretched us in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
and
you
it
had to be
weirded
creative.
people out because it's a Zoom. We're just going to watch, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden, the main screen is them sitting on their couch in their pajamas as
And
they're
they're
being
like,
interviewed.
we see you.
And then they would break out and either go to the bar or the police.
The
they
little
could go
chat
to
rooms.
chat
Okay.
rooms
Okay.
and it was but it just didn't money wise.
Sure.
Because you'd have they'd pay for one, and the whole family's sitting off the
Yeah, yeah,
picture.
yeah.
We had one group, 30 people. They paid for one ticket.
Yeah.
They were in New Hampshire having a great
In
time.
the
But
backyard,
like,
it was hard to
this
police
is not
that.
sustainable.
Yeah.
but it stretched us on what we could do, and so it was a.
We have this thing where
You made
we
it work.
connect people.
Yeah, exactly. That
so
comes through.
We're really good at connecting. Eric's a chef, so the food is really good too.
Yes,
Because you
it
can go to
was.
a dinner show and have food, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's all right.
Yeah, no, we were pleasantly. I didn't know what to expect with the food either. A few years ago, my wife and I switched to a vegetarian diet, and we're standing outside, and Sal, the character maitre d', is telling us about the food, and she starts mentioning the standard plate is like chicken and tri-tip and bacon, and I think she saw the look on her face, and she goes, "We have a fantastic pizza menu, by the way." We ended up going with one of your pear gorgonzola pizzas.
My
and it
favorite.
was delicious. Oh my God, we were talking about it on the way home. Like, I'd go back for the pizza. The food was really good, and it looked like everybody around us was cleaning their plate as well. So
Yeah.
kudos to getting
Thank
that
you.
part right on
Yeah.
as well as everything else.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We
Now,
like to feed people.
yeah, well,
Eating a meal, so you're breaking bread with people,
Yeah.
breaks down some barriers in the first place.
exactly.
So you're having a meal with these strangers, but by the end of the night, you guys are besties. So
Yeah,
that's good.
it's like that school dance vibe where at first everybody's kind of keeping to themselves and
Uh-huh.
and then by the end I'm joking with Grandma Barb across the table and like it was just like it all picked right up. So it was a lot of fun. Now obviously you guys are adapting the show regularly. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that social media wasn't a component 24 years ago.
No.
So it sounds like the show rotates its theme. You're adding different electronic things to it. So how often are you upgrading the show, changing the vibe of the show?
Well, the video that you see in the back, we filmed videos for after the show. We have a pre-show video that has clips of all my favorite murder mystery movies.
Yes, I saw it,
So we like to add that, and we change it. We change the music every 3 months, so we have a new.
Okay.
We try to take a little bit of culture, popular, what's new, what's now, add a little bit at a time. So it's not like this huge change.
Yeah.
From 1 month to the next. But if you came in January and then you came in December,
Okay.
you would go, oh,
Right.
that's new, that's new, that's new.
I love it.
And my disco ball is coming, so I'm very excited. We're
Ooh.
going to have that up there because I wanted to do that. So I have some.
I have no idea what that has to do with anything. I'll have to write some kind
I
of
just
plot on
love
what
it.
somebody dies from the laser light off the disco ball. But
Right,
that's kind of how it goes. She comes up with some unique, fun, crazy joke that she wants to get in, and then literally kind of write a show around that.
Yeah.
And was it the two of you originally from day one that kind of came up with the plot of the show, or what's its origin story?
Let me.
Yeah.
Okay, so way back in Sacramento, there was a place called Suspects, Murder Mystery Dinner Theater.
Okay.
In old Sacramento. The guy was flying up talent from LA to be the host and the cop.
Okay.
And so Jayne was the first one hired to be the hostess locally.
Okay, nice.
And then I was telling him, you don't need to pay that guy to come up. At the time, I was in the Navy, so he's like, this guy's got, Tequila Sunrise. He's like a real actor. I'm also, so am I, but I'm in the Navy right now. I'm an 8-year role of being a lieutenant in the Navy. It didn't impress him. And so then she took over being the host. I kind of took it, and we were getting scripts that were for the weekend, and they were heavy.
They're very dark, very brooding, very heavy. And, I did stand-up comedy for a few years in Los Angeles. So, I was, Pauly Shore and I did the Belly Room at the Comedy Store. So shout out to Pauly.
Hey, Pauly.
And my comedic sense was like, this person doesn't get what's happening. Let's add some more, So it started silly and fun, and then we ended up writing them, and then we moved to Tahoe. Was doing the murder mystery in Tahoe, but Eric and I will take a drive because we like to drive. So we'll be in the car, and I'll have this crazy idea. I'll have an idea of a weapon or a poison. And then I think of an idea of, wouldn't it be, let's think of this kind of idea. And then we go back and forth, and he puts the structure to it and to make it make sense. And I have all this silly, maybe 20 years ago, I had this stupid idea. I'm like, I want a guy to work at a construction company, and it's an owl company. And he's like, okay, like, where are you going with this? And then when he's dying, so the construction company guy was the killer, and I want him when he's dying, when he says, who did this to you? The guy goes, who? Now that's a clue for somebody. He's saying who as he's dying, and we were at the Benbow Inn up in Northern California where they have owls everywhere. So it's dumb. Like, it's a dumb thing, but it works, and people laugh, and it was a clue too. So I just have some harebrained ideas.
I've been very silent here right now because harebrained is a nice term.
Make it work.
I know it's silly.
And we change them every 3 months, so the plot's different, and the cast, the people that sit in the room are changed.
Yes.
The main characters have been around, and we rotate through a number of them. But we have one. How many times has she been? 29.
29. Christine. She's our super fan.
Really?
She's been 29 times. She loves it. She just, it's like, remember how Rocky Horror Picture Show is a thing for people? And
sure,
It's kind of like that. And I know when people are coming back, because they'll know some things. They don't know the middle.
Right.
They know the beginning and kind of how it ends, but they don't know the middle. And they're like, we're back, Dee Dee. And I said, okay, I'm glad, but don't be yelling out the lines. And they're like, okay. And they're all excited to bring people. So that is what is cool.
Yes.
That you have people, word of mouth has been
And she
strong.
brings different people every time she comes. So for me, you can't get a better, to have someone want to return, to bring other people, people that say, oh, we're from Indiana and our friends told us we had to come here.
And I'm Canadian, so all you Canadians out there, and welcome
Shout
to
out.
the 5,000 people that came from California at the end of this summer. Come on to the show. We'd love to have you. We lived in California for many years. We're here. We love it.
Yeah, I love it. So I am curious as well. You've mentioned that some of the cast has been here for many years.
Yes.
And then there's others that are kind of on a rotating basis. Are the folks that are rotating like maybe interns, for lack of a better term, or aspiring performers? How are you finding the folks that come in on a shorter term basis to participate?
So we have had interns where they come from other places. We had an intern who came from Florida and was with us for 4 months doing the show, and ended up doing another show as in a different work role. But Eric will have auditions every couple of months, and we're looking for certain persons to fit the script that we've written. We already have scripts selected in episodes for
That's
the next.
not quite.
Well,
that's
it's
not fair.
written
We have a
completely.
title.
We have an idea.
We have a title for what the show is going to be called.
Sure.
And then part of the thing too is when I audition people, that can really adjust where we're going with the show.
Okay, right. You find
Because
they would be great for this.
Yeah.
or that.
they're from
interesting.
here this week. So that's the freedom we have at being able to. I tell people, okay, I'm going to cast it, and then we finish writing it. Because
Got it.
to tell them, oh, you're from Hawaii and you've done this, this, and this, and they're not from Hawaii.
It doesn't work.
No, because the guy sitting next to him in the show is going to be from Hawaii and go, oh, really? They're going to just get exposed.
Yeah.
I called out. Yeah.
So we would borrow your life and add some things to it.
Okay.
It's easier to do than changing your whole life. Because
Right.
that's a lot to remember. And you're in a pressure point when you're sitting beside people, and it never fails there will be somebody sit beside somebody who knows more about that situation than they do. So we borrow your life
That makes
and
sense.
add to it.
So that
But
they can be
we
confident.
are refreshing the cast. The mains, like our sound and tech and those people.
They most of them have started as being one of the plants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then they kind of came back and have slowly kind of worked up the different roles to where they can, as they stick around and they can kind of, I've been playing Hitman now, and I'm going to be social media, and then to come up to be stage manager, then to actually be the hostess or the cop is kind of the...
And we've been training the last 3 months, so we have 4 cops, and we will hopefully have 5 hostesses, and we have 1 host. So Paul, who's on the keyboard
saw his
in this
cop, I
video,
think,
he's
Paul
cop.
Flores, yeah, that was
he's also sound, and he'll do hostess too. So
Host.
Host.
But he does say I'm a
I heard he
hostess
did
in here.
he's done everything at one point.
Oh
or another.
yeah,
He said
so
that
we
night.
killed him. He's been the murderer. So he's integrated into it. He understands it. The newer people that have come in go through a training. One of our leads, Emily Lapine, her and her husband do the show Hypnosis Unleashed. She's been a part of the show for a long time. She is now currently our assistant director and helps Eric with helping the cast. We do workshops.
Okay.
She's training. We have a new hostess that's coming in on Saturday that Eric will be working with. So, and these were people that were part of the plants a while back ago, and we saw promise in them. And it's like, let's
It
try
sort of
them
worked
out.
their way up.
Yeah, they worked their way up.
So another thing that I was trying to figure out on the way home was it was clear that some folks were planted as actors in the audience. There were others that it was not nearly as clear to me. Were they like somebody that bought a ticket to the show that was pulled aside ahead and said, hey, we want to use you for this and that? Or were they just not as detectable as an actor but planted from the get-go as well?
That's a great question.
Okay.
So we give some obviouses,
Yeah,
right? We
yes.
give the Easter eggs because we don't want to make it hard. When we
Right.
first moved to Las Vegas, our murder mysteries were quite hard.
Okay.
And people were frustrated.
Yeah,
They couldn't figure
couldn't
it
solve
out.
it.
Like they couldn't solve it.
And it wasn't, here's the thing, they weren't that
we didn't
hard.
think it was that hard.
We just found out that there's so much misinformation from the other guests and everything that's going on,
Right.
that we had to make it really simple and clear, and it's a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Because once somebody gets distracted on the wrong thing,
Yep.
That's it.
That's it, yeah.
The red herring takes them down the river.
I see.
So we simplified the murder mystery, and then as it goes, so the introduction is how do we play this game, and then we meet a few people, and we have an obvious couple of people, and then less obvious as the night progresses.
Got it.
So it's all open at the beginning, and then it narrows down.
you know who
Nice.
really does a pretty good job of figuring this out?
Who?
Is like 8
Kids.
to 10-year-old kids.
No kidding.
Because all the other jokes in this that's really going over their head,
Yeah.
They're focused.
and they see,
I see.
they don't get as distracted by all
Right.
the rest, and they go, oh no, it's this.
Well, you have a guy stand up from Texas. He's been married 6 times. He's here with his first wife and his 2 kids from the 3rd marriage. And all of a sudden, boom, he's it. People's life stories are so unbelievable
Yes.
that it takes you on another track. And we've had people that have lived the story that we're presenting
Right.
that we've made up.
Right.
So it's
see
like,
now.
oh my goodness.
That is funny.
We
I
had
didn't realize.
a guy who's here with his ex-wife and his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember somebody saying that. Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. She goes, we get along better. The ex-wife and the wife
Yeah.
are really good friends.
Yeah.
They're BFFs.
Yeah.
And so these events for him are kind of like, oh, because he's like the third wheel, and he's paying for both wife and ex-wife to go do something, which of course just made me laugh.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and you have the retired folks that love it. You have the young working people that love it. The kids. So when we say kids, we encourage that their age of reason, whatever that is as a parent. You're
Okay.
going to know if your kid knows the difference between real and theater.
Yeah.
Because there are some blood plays, there's gunshots and stuff, and we don't want to freak them out. So we tell the parents, Your kids okay with it? We're fine with it.
Okay.
And we, no foul language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any foul language, no. We do kill 3 people. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, right.
No nudity or cussing, right? Yeah, okay, but killing, oh, that's
Yeah,
you're
killing is
fine.
good.
Yeah.
We're okay with that. No cussing, killing, great, we're in. So we don't, and usually in the summer we have a lot more families that are traveling.
Sure.
So we'll get a family. But the thing I've been loving to see is our bachelor and bachelorette parties, or people who just got married at 3 o'clock and they're coming to our show.
Really?
We had that just last week. She was still in her veil.
No way.
Well, think about it. You have a dinner. What are we going to do? We don't know each other. This will be fun.
Yeah.
They get highlighted because they just got
course,
married,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And just the title, Marriage Can Be Murder. So we always kind of have a relationship element
Got it.
that's in it. So it can't be the same story every time, but all marriages are different. So we have a million stories to tell. We'll never end with the stories.
It's endless. You mentioned earlier that at one point you were performing 7 nights a week. Is that still the case, or is it more of a limited schedule now?
We have 1 night off a week.
Okay. What night is that?
Wednesday.
But you came
I
to
came on a Wednesday. That's fine.
Well, Jacob, one of our sound engineers, was getting married on a Thursday. So he got married last night, and most of the cast wanted to be there. So we had a Wednesday night show instead of a Thursday,
Got
so we
it.
can enjoy his wedding. And marriage can be murder.
And the
So-
family, hence back to the family thing.
Back to the family. So yeah, I think we're like a family. And we have our dysfunctions and we have our crazy cousins, but we love each other and we want the best. So it's teamwork. Eric and I is team comedy, teaching team comedy.
That's really difficult.
It's difficult.
Because they have very few examples left anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't know of another married couple that's a comedy team.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But you can tell us. I don't.
Stiller.
Yeah, leave a
and,
comment if you
Well,
know.
yeah, but they've passed on.
Yeah,
so,
they were the last.
Ben Stiller's parents were the last that we knew of. But
Oh,
you
sure,
go,
yeah.
you go way back, George Burns, Gracie Allen. Like
Right.
there was a bunch of couple comedy teams, but we're the last that I know.
Well, it's a testament to your show. I mean, you've been here almost 25 years. How many shows can even make that claim? You mentioned kind of the classic Vegas, roots here. So I think it really does kind of harken back to a different form of entertainment. And again, it was like nothing that I've never experienced. I mean, it was just so fun, so interactive. You're part of the whole evening. I loved it. One other question. I know you have a show coming up, but it's been a long history with the show. How long since you've been here at the Orleans doing the show?
Okay, so we're new to the Orleans. We came in December of 21 because
Did 10 shows.
Did
Okay.
10 shows
As like a
real
test.
quick as a little test, and we outsourced the food because the kitchen it had been a space that had been closed for a long time. So
Okay.
chef over here and people we had to retrofit, fix, make it all up to code, and
Right.
we have A's because we're good.
Yeah.
We had to get that. So then we started in February, but because the kitchen wasn't ready and we're all coming out of COVID, Eric was cooking in a food truck in the parking lot because we couldn't have a flame
it.
in the kitchen.
I could plate,
I love it.
but I couldn't have
Yeah.
a flame. I couldn't.
So where the Volkswagens are today, that's where we had a food truck, and Ivy Star Productions, which is our wonderful producer, John Bentham and his team, they got a food truck. So Eric and his team were cooking out in the food truck, came in, assembled, and I think it was 1 year in August where we've been in the kitchen.
Okay.
And our bar just opened last June. So we got our liquor license before we got our Wi-Fi. That's how it was kind of assembling after COVID.
Wow.
Now it's rocking and rolling, but
Yeah.
pieces were not moving as fluid as you would in the normal state. Everybody was just kind of waking up, and so we put it together. So we like to say it was building a plane while we were flying.
Yeah, totally.
And then you find the humor in trauma, right? Was it Carol Burnett? The difference between comedy and tragedy is about 6 weeks sometimes. Not all, but in many.
Sometimes it's 3 days, but that's when you're edgy.
And when you can learn to see the humor in that stuff, but you got to go through a lot to get there. And we're just really proud of our team. This guy makes it work. He's the maestro. He's the conductor of everything. He's the glue. So the glue that keeps everything going. And it's hard because we, at one time when we were performing, the only responsibility we had was our team, the actors,
Right.
and the show. And now it's the bar, it's the showroom. It's the show and the kitchen. So we're diversifying again, Emily being assistant director, and then having more hosts, hostesses, and cops, so we can rotate. So this guy doesn't die from doing 25 jobs.
Seriously.
So he's the brain. So we need to keep him good.
So we're in trouble.
It seems like you found a great venue for this that kind of checks every box. I love the overcoming any obstacle and continuously innovating. Do you feel like you've found your spot for the next 25 years of the show then?
I would say that I can't see past that. You know, you think you know, and then you don't know.
Yeah.
Like, who knew COVID would do everything?
Sure.
Like, we were ready to walk away at COVID. It was like, we had a good run. And maybe it's not, maybe people don't want this anymore. Maybe they want something different. But because we've reinvented ourselves, we keep modern. People love murder mysteries. Like, during COVID, we were all binge watching every murder mystery.
Yes.
Every show. Every show. You know,
That should be so embarrassing to so many of us.
We all became sleuths. We all love it. It's kind of in the fabric of who we are, NCIS and all those shows.
I'm going to throw in, I think very much it could be. It's so funny because we had a server who worked for us at the very beginning, and then she had gotten a union job and was doing this, and I'll come back and work. You know, was kind of missing it, wanted to work a night a week, and she came back and was shocked because we had done so much.
Wow.
But it's kind of like that frog in the water. You turn it up slowly. When you're in it, you don't notice it as much.
Yes.
She was like, oh my goodness. And I look around and I think, oh, look, because this used to be, I called it piss yellow and baby poop brown.
Okay.
To just get it painted and to get a little life in here. And I look at this room and it's got so much more life now, but I still look at it and go, gosh, I could do so much, you know. So yeah, I think as we continue to grow, and it very much could be a place that.
And I think the subject, what we do, is popular. People like it. We're like this best kept secret in Vegas.
Right.
When people go, 24 years? How come I've never heard of you? But there's so many things going on.
I know, the competition.
It's just kind of crazy.
And the locals are so inundated. Somebody could put up a billboard in their front yard. And they wouldn't know it's there for 5 days.
Sure.
They'd go, honey, there's a billboard in our front yard. Well, it's been there all week. Because we're just, we just tune out because there's so much
stuff.
And you saw Christy, who
was
fantastic. I love her so much. She's so talented. And now her daughter, who was
in utero
when she did our first show, is now
her first show with us.
She was pregnant with her daughter Caroline, who does social media, does our hip person, is also going to do the host. She's actually in the video right here with the Gumby. So it's just that, I'm sure you'll call her a Nepo baby, but don't worry, she's got to work hard. So having Christy, she had stepped out for a little while. She is actually a wedding coordinator. And so she actually does that for a living during the day.
Another marriage connection.
Another marriage connection. And so she, having her come back, it's been good. So like Eric said, it's something you experience even in the culture of who we are. We're like family. We care about people. They might leave, but some will come back. Or some will stay because we're positive people. We're good job. We want you to thrive. We want you to do well.
Sure.
And optimists. So we're optimists, and I think the world needs a little optimism.
I agree. And that family vibe, it just keeps coming back, and I want you to know that it comes through to the folks that are sitting out there.
I got
it right
Thank
away.
you so much.
Oh, good.
I really did.
That's great because that's the unspoken.
Yeah.
We want people to feel like they're here, that we're glad that they're here, that they're going to have a fun night. And even, dealing with introverts and extroverts, there's body language of people that are terrified.
Yeah, don't pick me.
We've gotten good at knowing, or even somebody will come in and say, can you not? And we're like, yes.
And we say, yes, we won't. But then if they are two people in the crowd
they're
are
like, it's that guy.
Oh, it's that guy. And now all of a sudden they're way more.
It's like, oh, sorry, we didn't do it.
Most of those at the end of the night have had a great time.
Yes.
I bet.
I've had more husbands who were dragged or people that didn't want to be interactive. And they're screaming out stuff in the middle of the show. Because we broke through that barrier right there, and now they're just having fun. We when we were in Sacramento, had private shows, and this bunch of Intel engineers came, and there was one guy, and he was okay, it's a whole room full of nerds.
Yeah, yeah.
And he is nerd of the nerds.
We love nerds.
Okay. Yeah.
And
I'm
he's
one of those.
he's
We
just
love you.
Thank you.
We love nerds.
you know, he's never spoken or something, and she gave him some sort of nickname.
I don't know.
And I can't remember what it was, but it was a month later they came back, and that's who he's called at Intel
No
now.
way.
And now he's like on the social committee. It was like, it really. So to me, that's one of those success stories. 'cause,
Yeah.
Well, we
Oh,
have, Eric's background and graduate of
Kellert's.
California Institute of the Arts and
Nice.
acting, and he always wanted to do improv. They told him to go on the streets and be a pantomime or busk. And I've always had this kind of weird, witty. I probably get it from my grandmother, but I have just this witty sense of humor. I see the humor in every situation. This is marriage advice just for us, but if he can get away with something and it makes me laugh, we're good.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah.
No, I have. If I say something that husbands should not say,
Yeah.
okay, but she laughs first,
Yes.
it's fair game.
Pass. Okay.
Yeah.
I
It's
like
it's a
it.
pass. I get a
Yeah.
pass on it.
love
And
it.
I very rarely don't get a laugh.
Yeah, so because we're a couple and, we have that timing thing, teaching timing
Yes.
to a very distracted culture.
Yep.
Making
Right.
sure they're paying attention and listening. So we make sure that the sound is right, the script is good, the interaction is good. It's all in doses, and it just plays out throughout the evening. And then when you leave, you're like, that was great.
Yeah.
I'm good. And you're not too full, and you're not a little empty. You're like, oh, I could do something else after. We don't want people to leave and go, oh, I got to go to bed.
A friend of mine brought his wife here for their anniversary, and it was supposed to. And I told him a month ahead of time, oh, it's the night when Jayne and I are going to be working. It turned out that we had something else that night. And I called him. Yeah, it's his anniversary. He still came. And the best compliment he gave me, he goes, my wife woke up the next day and she goes, my face hurts from laughing
Yes.
so hard.
Yes.
And I almost teared up because that's
the ultimate compliment.
That's what we want. And,
Yeah.
as humor has changed and our culture has changed, we still have a niche, and we can still do some comedy that makes most people laugh
Yep.
without being offensive. I mean, you're going to be offended. That's just comedy, right?
Sure.
But it's clean. It's
Yeah.
PG-13.
Right.
It's dad jokes. It's mom jokes. It's family jokes. It's that kind of, we all share that. Yeah, we know. We all got it. So that's what we do. That's what we love to do. We continue to do it with an appetite for it. We're always thinking of new funny things. The world is a funny place if you look at it sometimes, and
Right.
you can mine from that. But we make up silly, crazy things that we think are impossible, and then we'll read somewhere it happened.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
It's just like, what? What is it? Art imitating life, life imitating
way
art.
back in the day. Oh, we're going to have a mom that's killing other cheerleaders so her daughter can get on the squad.
Okay.
2 weeks into it, article comes out in Texas.
Oh, no.
Mom's arrested.
We're like,
I'm like, you gotta be. So, but that just continued
to
to
happen.
kind of happen because
Wow.
every
Yeah.
time you think of it, oh, this is
That's
just too crazy.
That would never happen. So we don't have that would never happen anymore. But we continue to perfect, make more unique and better the show. So it's not like, here's this script and we're just going to do that same. No, because the people are different every night. It makes it different because we change the cast every 3 months. That's different. The dynamic, the people. So it's constantly changing.
We're always tweaking it.
Yeah.
You could call us tweakers.
Yes.
No,
Well,
we're
not in the bad way, but there's.
Can't leave well enough
The show
alone.
never
ends.
The show never ends. It's constant. This is what
Okay,
it is.
okay. Because, and that's what makes it fun to have done a show for you're 25 years, and you
Yeah.
think, oh my goodness, you've been doing the same thing for 25 years.
Yeah.
It's
It's
we don't
not
have
the
that
same
issue.
thing.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
Constantly changes, constantly grows.
Right.
And it's interacting with people, and even the same show for the 3 months, how different it is each night depending on what the crowd is like.
Right.
Makes
Keeps it fresh.
Yep.
Yeah, and then even our team, the people that we select to do the parts, we have similar humor veins, just a little bit different. But that's a synergy too, because when we do our rehearsals, we only have 2. Some shows go for like 8-week rehearsals. We
Wow.
have 2 because we have the skeleton.
Now 2 weeks, 2 nights.
2 nights, And then we, we're sitting with the new crew and then with the seasoned crew, and then we throw out stuff. This is our idea. This is what we're thinking, and they get to input.
Yep.
And so we think that's where there's more buy-in. Okay, what do you have to say? What do you have to say? And doing it long enough to know that you're not the smartest person in the room. Yes, you have skills. Yes, you have history. Yes, you're a pro because you've been doing this a long time, but those people have something awesome to say. So we learn from the new people. Our crew is for the betterment of the show. So if the sound engineers say, what about this? Or if the host or hostesses or cops say, hey, have you thought of this? We have a little book that we write in the back, things that we've discovered, a new joke or something, so we share with each other. So I like that. I like how our crew works like that. So good job to all our crew. We love you. Mwah.
Love it. Well, I have absolutely loved this interview. I love the show. I can't recommend it enough. If you're coming to Vegas or you're already here, you're looking for a good night out, please do check out Marriage Can Be Murder. In addition to this interview, we're also going to be doing, my wife and I do show reviews. That's going to be coming out very soon. I think I'm going to write a blog article about it as well. Anything that I can do to help promote this. It does feel like the best kept secret in Vegas, but I'd love to help you get some more views and customers. So thank you so much for doing this today. It really has been a pleasure. I'm already thinking about coming back because I know you switch it up.
Yes, so Christmas show is coming.
That sounds really fun to me. I think
Yeah.
you'll probably be seeing this again. Thank you so much. I truly do appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.